Hey students, I wanted to make sure for anyone who was lost on where they should start with this Barnabas project, whether you maybe missed Thursday when I kind of explained it a little bit, maybe you're lost because of grandparents' day and you're coming back to class Monday, where do I go? How do I get going? Maybe even you want to start at the weekend. I just wanted to clarify where to go and what to do. I have a folder in your resources of Talon that's called the Barnabas Project. You can just click that folder and that's got the information you need. There's actually the Google Doc with everything, including the rubric there. And there is the tool you're going to use, the web tool for the spiritual gifts assessment. Now, when you go to this project, I basically set up here what the settings were kind of reflected on Barnabas and how he was the glue guy. He was the person who, his service brought about so much blessings for so many other people who are followers of Jesus, and trying to learn how we can be blessings as well. So that's kind of one of the motives here, and we're kind of combining a couple things we've already learned in class and working it all together. The new stuff that maybe you're not aware of, maybe you've heard it before, but if you click this video and it pops up here, I've got a short little video of myself that you can watch explaining what spiritual gifts are if you've never heard of them. A couple spots in the Bible that talks about it, why it's important to maybe learn what God has gifted you with so you can serve others and you can love and honor others. And so that's the first thing you kind of watch to get context if you didn't hear me explain that in class, for those who were there on Friday. Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to try to take a spiritual gifts assessment. It kind of is just a tool. They're not magic. It's not perfect, but it's a thing that you'll work through to kind of give you an idea of how maybe the Holy Spirit is giving you some talents and abilities to help and serve others. So you'll click this there. And there's this link here should take you to a web page that looks like this. It's Brewster Church Spiritual Gift Assessment. Even though I told the IT people about this website, there's still some issues with it being blocked. Apparently, it's not blocked on Safari. If you use a Safari browser, it'll work. Use a phone browser if you need to. It's Brewster Church, and it's a spiritual gift assessment. If you need to look it up on your phone, that's fine. For some reason, some students, their Chrome browser was working, some it was blocking. I can't explain with technology why that isn't working. But again, you can do it on your phone. You can do it on Safari browser, whatever. As you go along, you just click what is least like and most like you as you respond to these questions. When I see something that needs to be done, I take initiative without being asked. If that's very, very much like you, you click to this side. If it's not, more to this side. You go through and answer these questions. It'll take you, anywhere from 10 to maybe 12 to 15 minutes if you really, really spend a lot of time thinking about each question. And then you'll calculate your totals. And when you're done, it'll give you a score in this little box down here. And one score or two, or maybe even three of these spiritual gifts will probably be scored a little higher because that's revealing, at least according to this tool, and it's just a tool, what right now it seems like might be your spiritual gifts and abilities. They don't feel pigeonholed by this. This is just a snapshot of where you are right now. As you grow and mature and stuff happens in your life, God might bring other spiritual gifts to the table or out of you that maybe aren't as clear right now. But you see what is kind of the major one. You take a screenshot of that. You're going to want to save that screenshot. Beneath it, you've got some descriptions of what they are. And you're like, oh, wisdom. All right. The ability to offer wise and knowledgeable counsel. And, people have insight to help people make wise decisions in light of one's past, current responsibilities, and future hopes and dreams. That might not seem obvious. That might be spiritual gift you come with. Maybe you've got faith or mercy or helps or one of these other ones. But these are biblical spiritual gifts that, you're going to want to see. Now, the reason the second part of this project was not just to take a screenshot of this assessment, but to reflect and get feedback from others is because sometimes you want to vet those. Maybe there's a couple that are kind of closely aligned. You're like, which of these two or three is more like me? Or maybe you just want to get some feedback from someone who knows you well. So I'm asking you to get feedback from one friend, a peer, and one person who's a family member who might be able to say, yeah, that kind of sounds like you. And you can just show them the results and show them the ones from this that seem to be, ranked higher. You can give them the, definitions if that helps and say, do they think that's true of you? And they can either affirm it, yeah, that's you, or maybe they'll say, I actually think you're more like this. But getting that feedback kind of helps keep you accountable, because sometimes maybe you're not really paying attention as you fill this out, or just, you're not really sure how to answer some. And over time, these tools, aren't always perfect. And especially if, we're not really sure how to answer stuff. sometimes it helps to have a little perspective from outside ourselves. So the second thing I want is I want people to get some outside perspective, some feedback. And then I want you to also sometime, either over the weekend, Monday in class, whatever, analyze yourself a little bit of what are you passionate about? What are you really excited about? What makes you go? Because really trying to find an intersection of who you are and who God's gifted you to be. And the intersection of that with opportunities. The next step that people will be working on Monday, and maybe even it'll be Tuesday or beyond if you're, missed some days, is to look at a local church that you either respect or that you go to, or maybe you would go to, or even just one that you're aware of, for those of you who aren't involved in a church. And try to find on their website how they're involved in these 5 different characteristics of worship, fellowship, discipleship, service, outreach, and evangelism. That's what you're trying to look for. You're researching that. And again, I encourage you check their website. Maybe it's the ministries link or the About Us link or something like that. It might tell you how they value those things. And you can kind of look for where might there be opportunities to help in certain areas. They're not necessarily going to be taking applications or anything, but you're just trying to look what opportunities are there out there in some of these areas that God designed churches to do that might possibly be areas I could step into. And that's where the part 3 comes in. I really want you to project or analyze maybe where the intersection is of where you could get involved, where this is what seems to be God's made me gifted at and I'm passionate about, and here's some opportunities. Look and see if maybe there's something that you can find that's the mixture of all those. And that's really all I'm asking you to do. Now, I do put down here presentation because I want you to be able to show me what you've come up with. And so each step of the way of these things that I've bolded on this sheet, I'm just asking you to kind of put that down, whether you put it in a Google Slides, a Prezi, or whatever, I don't care. Just put it in somewhere where you can kind of show me and walk me through step by step. Okay, here's the results I had. Here's some of the feedback I got and kind of what it made me think about what my spiritual gift might be. Here's what I think maybe my passions might be at. And then here's where I see a local church jumping in all these areas and doing these things. And this one area in particular seems maybe that'd be the best place for me to jump in if I was to jump in. Obviously, I'm not going to follow you to that church and make sure you volunteer or help. But it's more just you looking for opportunities that are out there and being aware of them. I'm just trying to increase your awareness. Now, I do realize this whole thing, as you go, and there's a rubric right here that you can kind of look at. I'm going to use this when I hear you present to me either Tuesday, if you've had time to work on it, both Friday and Monday, or later in the week, if you're going to need that extra day because you missed for Grandparents' Day. I'm going to go through this. For some of you, if you're not very spiritually inclined, maybe you kind of keep God at a distance, even though you're at a Christian school or whatever, it might feel weird or strange. I have no interest in God. I have no interest in this stuff. I'm hoping someday you will. I'm also hoping you kind of understand the way that God has designed people to be who do follow him. And maybe if you see people who are kind of selfish and you're like, what's off? Well, maybe this is what's off. Maybe this, even going through this process, as awkward as it might be for someone who's not following Jesus, it helps you see, oh, that's what a person who follows Jesus should kind of be doing. And that's why when I see people who mess it up, it rubs me the wrong way. And so I want you to just kind of be aware of that as you work through this. I'll be available for emails if you have any questions on Monday. You can shoot me an email. I'll try to respond as quickly as I can. But I want you to get started, do a good job, and then kind of show me what you come up with. All right. Thanks, students. Appreciate you.